Happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome into the Gramlich and Lain podcast, presented by Ingles, the official supermarket of Gramlich and Lain. And as we said on yesterday's episode, happy post-Christmas. Hope everyone had a Merry Christmas. This episode's going to be a little confusing, this interview specifically, because we talked to Dabo on maybe December 17th. And when you get something in Dabo's head, he's going to talk about it for 5 minutes. So we brought up Santa. Mac brought up the fact that Dabo literally hires a guy, or it's really Santa. To be Santa on the roof of his house.
No, Kelly, Santa comes to Clemson. He doesn't get anybody to do it. What are you talking about?
Right.
If something happens to Santa, put on the suit. The reindeer know what to do. Okay, that's where we are.
Yeah, true.
I'm saying, do you know that?
And the reindeer are parked at Walmart, which does make sense. They probably enjoy that.
The Central Walmart, to be specific.
You know, I think we need to get to the interview because people are probably so confused about what we're talking about. Mac, why don't you intro your head coach?
Oh, my guy, Coach Dabo Swinney, so kind enough to join us. Great interview, great insight. Was a lot of fun talking about Santa, but it was also a lot of fun talking about these Clemson Tigers. Big shout out for Ross for making this happen. We appreciate you, brother. Without further ado, Santa Claus is coming to town. Here's Coach Dabo Swinney. Coach, man, welcome in. We're super excited for this, but I'm more excited because you just broke the news that I want to hear. Santa on the roof tonight, 6:45. Tell everybody about that. I don't know if you've gone on record about this. I'm sorry if I'm spilling secrets, but this is one of my favorite things you do, man.
Yeah, we've been doing it. Kath and I got married in 94, and I think we've been doing it. I think we first started it in 96, and we've done it every year, except I think one year when we moved to Clemson, we were in a rental house in Seneca, and that's the only year we haven't done it. We've done it every year, so man, Santa shows up. And, he's on the roof, we got to deal. We usually park the reindeer at Walmart so they can, get some food and Santa comes, he's come every year and it's awesome. And it's just an open house. I don't know half the people that come. It's just anybody comes. We got cookies and hot chocolate and he's on the roof. We got, he shoots suckers down a big giant candy cane and the kids, they come up and they talk to Santa and Santa talks to them and it's a really, really fun night. And then he comes down and, I think I may have a picture of you, Max, sitting on Santa's lap.
You do. You for sure do.
He'll come down. Some of the players come over and hang out. And, yeah, it's just open house, man. Anybody.
So how does one obtain – I hear you saying open house. How does one obtain an invite? Is this like word of mouth outside of the players?
Word of mouth. We send out, we send it all through the neighborhoods. We send it out to the athletic department. It's just word of mouth. Yeah.
So this is a real person on your roof.
It's Santa.
It's Santa, Kelly. It's not what do you mean a real person? It's Santa.
Okay,
Claus.
so you booked Santa specifically for this day to come to your house.
I've always had a connection to Santa. And
And
Santa,
so he parks his reindeer at Walmart. So you don't see the reindeer?
No, we got to have room for cars to get in and out of the neighborhood.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't want to messing up the lawn. So just kind of a little more space out there at Walmart. And man, Santa, he's amazing. And literally, it's actually this house, our first house that we were in, our first 14 years here, literally he was standing on the roof. It was crazy. Like this chimney would appear and he would stand in the chimney. And with this house, it's a little, because we built like a balcony where he can actually walk out onto the balcony. It's really cool.
Did you build that just for this though? Was that the reason you built it?
That was actually a part. That was one of the main reasons. So, Santa on the roof. And
that's amazing.
Been doing it for years and years and years. And we got elves running around and, cookies and hot chocolate and snacks and just music playing. And, everybody comes and anybody can come and we have a good time.
This is amazing. Well, we're recording this before Christmas, so obviously that's what Coach is talking about. But unreal. We love your Christmas spirit, Coach. And yes. I imagine, will Coach Luke and Coach Rumpf be invited to this Santa experience? And
Everybody's invited. And then tomorrow night we have our staff Christmas party, and it's everybody dressed up like ugly sweater, whatever.
Love that.
In fact, and then we give like $100 to the top winner. Like last year, Daniel Boyd and his wife, they dressed up as Clark's uncle, Uncle Eddie,
Yes,
right?
yes,
And he had the robe on and the boots and the little cap, good hairy chest,
He
when he
knows how to
showed
get
up.
to your heart, Coach. He knows how to get to
Yeah,
your heart.
yeah.
That was a good one. We got a lot of traditions. So like every year during South Carolina week, after dinner, we have our Thanksgiving team dinner on Wednesday night. And then after that is when we put our tree up.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously we work on Thanksgiving and we practice and all that. But then when I get home, we do Thanksgiving at our house, and then I'm outside and I'm stringing lights till probably 10, 11 o'clock or so. And then get my lights up. And then the next day, boom, let's get ready to go play South Carolina. And
Come on.
I love Christmas. I love celebrating the birth of Jesus.
That's
can't
right.
get any better than that.
No question.
That's right, Coach. Okay, well, we could talk to you about Christmas all day, but we know you're very busy. I mentioned Coach Luke and Coach Rump. Let's talk about these guys, your new hires, and just specifically what you're excited about with both of them. And I know they're already hitting the ground running at practice right now.
Yeah, well, first of all, I know both of them. I mean, so they're not people that I'm have to get to know. I've never worked with Matt, but we've got a lot of people that we've crossed over with and just known him for a long time, and spent a lot of time with him at different things and events, and he's just a great guy. He's got a great family. Obviously, he's got a ton of experience. He's been a head coach. He's got a good perspective, and he's a winner. So he's got great relationships. Everybody knows him. He's got a lot of ties all throughout the Southeast, our recruiting footprint, if you will. So it's been exciting to see him kind of hit the ground running. And then he's lost his voice because he doesn't have any coaching stamina. He's got to kind of work his way back up to that.
Oh, no.
Especially when you're coaching the OL against Nick Eason and Chris Rump over there. He's they're battling. But it's been fun, man. And then Rump was on. We worked together. We were assistants together and lived in the same neighborhood. We were neighbors. His kid, he's got two kids, but Elijah was just a baby when he's here. But Chris, so I coached the baseball team for years, and Chris and Will were the same age, and Drew, and so Chris was on my team, and we called him the Shakenator. Because he'd get up in there and he'd get in that and he'd just start shaking his rump. So we call him the rump shaker, the Shakenator, the rump shaker. He'd get in, he'd just shake that butt. And but Chris was a great athlete. So those kids all grew up. We were together all the time. We were neighbors. So we spent a lot of time. And then I became the head coach, and so he was on my staff when I was the interim, and and then he went to Alabama in 2011, and I was there, won a national championship, bounced around. He's been to Texas, Florida. He's been to a couple, and then he went to the pros. So we've just been friends for a long time. I mean, we do a staff ski trip, here every year after signing day, and for years and years, even after he was gone, he would still come out to Beaver Creek.
Come on.
And he had to pay his own way, but he would come out and we'd see him out there. So we've just always been friends. He and Keela, just so it was awesome. I actually tried to hire him in 2017, and it just wasn't the right timing for him when he was at Florida, and so that's when I hired Todd Bates. So it's just right time in life for him. This is what he wants to do. He really wants to finish up here and live on Kiowee.
Wow.
Wants to build a house there. That's they had already come here to buy a lot before. This is,
Wow.
last
How about
year.
that?
So timing was good. And so just a lot of familiarity. He's got a lot of experience. He's a great teacher, and, it was awesome. So I'm excited to have him. And he's the same thing. He's from South Carolina. He knows the recruiting area, the footprint. He's got great relationships, and, it's been good to get him up and running.
That's amazing. I'm trying to retire on Lake Kiwi too. So if you could help make that happen, Coach, I appreciate that. Let's talk about this opportunity of bowl season, because I've been, doing a lot of TV shows, radio, podcasts, whatever, and kind of putting Clemson in this 3-team race of Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, Clemson, of teams that I think can glean the most
from these 15 extra practices, from this extra time, and continue to grow as a team. How do you feel that you guys can take a great advantage of this opportunity to continue to build and who you want to be and really sprint into 2024?
Well, you don't get better at football if you don't get to play football. And so, all them teams that are sitting at home, man, you're missing out. I mean, you're getting a chance. Like, we're going to scrimmage today. We had a scrimmage Saturday. We're going to scrimmage today. And, man, with our JV people, and to be able to – it's just time to really – we don't have any rules. We don't have, 20-hour rule. We don't have all that stuff. Man, it's just ball. I mean, we can meet. We can practice. We can have post-practice. We scrimmage after practice. I mean, we can get more individual stuff. And it's a really huge time for a lot of these guys to create some confidence, some wind in their sails and some momentum going into the offseason for a lot of these guys to see where they are. Guys that have been on scout team, guys that are redshirting, or just guys that maybe hadn't played as much. Well, we get a chance to get more work with them. So, as bowl practice it's a combination of a lot of things, because it's a lot amount of time. You have more time for this game than you do, any other game. So how you manage that time, you got finals, you got a lot of things going on. You want to have some fun, and we do. We're going to Frankie's Fun Park today for 2 hours. We're going to have a ball, smashing go-karts in.
Man, this is the right time to get on a Zoom with you, man. Come on.
Man.
It's all happening.
Then we come back and have Santa on the roof. So so we're getting ready to go full pads today. It's going to be grind day. We had a comedian come in this morning, had a little fun with him, and kicked it off. So it'll be a tough practice, but it'll be a good one. But, you want to spend a lot. Now we got 2 new coaches, too. So you're spending a lot of time on fundamentals and techniques, and obviously working on Clemson stuff. Just your offense, your defense, just what you do, the foundation of that. Also, a lot of good on good during bowl practice. We had a big time W drill Saturday. That was awesome. That was, and just a lot of intensity. And then, we'll spend a lot of time, obviously, on Kentucky as well, in your scout periods. But it's just a combination of all of those things. And then you got to stay sharp. You got to have enough competitive work. You got to be smart with it, but you got to have enough competitive work to be ready to play.
Yeah.
Because, it is a little bit of a layoff from them playing football. So there's a lot going on. And then sometimes, you have some guys that move on or whatever. They're not with you. So, it's a new opportunity for some guys.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I love this time of year. I really do. And I think, for us, we've got some momentum. We've won 4 in a row. It'd be great to win 5 in a row and finish with a 9th win for the 13th year in a row. Only us in Alabama be able to say that in all of college football. It's really, really hard to win. And only 3 teams have had 13 years of 8+ wins. And that's us, Georgia, and Alabama. So, it would be a big deal for our guys and to get a postseason win once again. We've had 12 years of postseason wins around here. So there's a lot. We want to win the game, but we want to create great momentum with it.
Yeah, you bring up momentum, Coach, and you talk about that 4-game winning streak. It feels like a lot of things have changed for your team since that Notre Dame game and how you guys have played, the confidence. And with Cade, I think that Notre Dame game was huge for him heading into the rest of the stretch of the season and the next year. What do you want to see from him specifically with all these practices you have, and then in this bowl game for that Mo heading into 2024?
Just stay on the path he's on. Reason we've won 4 in a row is we've done a better job of taking care of the ball. We've won the margin 4 games in a row. The 4 we lost, we didn't. Yeah. And, so he's been better. Defensively, we've been awesome. I think our defense, honestly, is good enough to win it all this year. I think we had, we're top 10 defense and one of the best pass defenses in the nation. Those guys have they've done a hell of a job all year. We just really poor with ball security, but I just want to see him just continue to stay on the path. You saw in the last game, he rushed for 50-something yards, almost 60 yards or so, and just being having good poise and presence in the pocket, and when to use his legs, and to get the first down, and when to use his legs to extend plays. Just eliminating the disasters. The early part of the year, he'd make these plays and go, whoa, and then he'd make another play, and it was like, the apocalypse, right? And so he's just really settled in, and I really like the direction he's in. So just continue to take the next step. This is another great opportunity. We came up short in the bowl game last year. We had 34 first downs. We ran 100 plays, and we didn't finish in the red zone. And, we had that. He in particular had a critical mistake right before the half. So, that was his first ever start. So he's just really grown all throughout the year. He's not been perfect, but he's getting better. And we see him every day, and we know who he is. And I just think this kid is a winner. I think he's got a lot of great days ahead of him at Clemson and beyond. So just continue to stay the course and stay the path. And, he's not always had consistency around him. Obviously we've had, guys in and out of the lineup. Cole Turner's been out since the first game. Antonio Williams has played 4 games all year, really only 3.5 all year long. We've had guys just up and down, broken hands, you name it. But hopefully we can put some guys out there to get it done for him. And then this offensive line has come through, down the stretch here with our least available dudes.
Right.
They really have stepped up for us. I'm proud of how he's managed it.
No question. Well, Coach, we appreciate you. Tell Santa to don't be afraid to stop in Columbia. I know it's a scary place sometimes, not for you guys, but we appreciate you so much and always grateful for your time, brother.
Listen, he doesn't go to places where they're naughty, right? It's only gotta be nice, Gramlich.
That's right. That's right.
He's checking that list. He's checking it twice.
What's up, guys? Merry Christmas, and hope you have an awesome holiday season. We have some really exciting news because of our friends over at Ingles. KG and I really feel great about giving back to the community. We want to do that. We have that urge, and these guys have stepped up huge. So massive shout out to Ingles. We are partnering with them to feed over 100 families this holiday season. We're going to do a bunch of gift cards, giving it out to the community, to various people, and they have stepped up huge to match us in that effort in the upstate, KG.
That's right, Mac. Partnering with Ingles, we are so excited to be able to help support Clemson Community Care, the Dream Center, and Clemson's Paw Pantry this holiday season. If you want to find out more about these amazing organizations, we will link their information below. Wherever you're watching this, we'll have some link to this post, so look for it. We would encourage you to also give back to your community this year in whatever way you can. Doesn't necessarily have to be to these organizations. It can be, $1, $5, whatever it is. That's what we hope you'll get from this. So God bless and happy holidays from Gramlich and Mac Lain. Mac, let's talk about this football game. Thanks again to Coach Swinney and Santa for joining us on this episode. This is the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, Friday, December 29th, noon on ESPN, number 22, Clemson versus Kentucky. Clemson is down to a 4.5-point favorite, Mac, which I find interesting. Totals at 46.5. I guess some of the Clemson opt-outs and transfer portal is probably what's doing that, with Bo Collins leaving, Andrew Makuba leaving, Jeremiah Trotter, Nate Wiggins declaring for the draft. So that's all interesting. And Ray Davis, from what we are seeing, is playing. So, of course, that's a big factor for Kentucky here. Clemson very familiar with Devin Leary, who is the quarterback for Kentucky, who, Mac, fun fact, has never played in a bowl game due to injury and transferring.
Yeah.
He's never played in a bowl game. So this is a dream come true for him. I saw a quote that said that. So that's great. I think the big question here, we know what Clemson's defense is going to look like. But do we, there's some question marks there, Mac, just because of the guys they won't have. But I feel like you still expect this defense to show up and play well.
Yeah, I really do. And first and foremost, I have to get this out of the way. I am going to this game.
Oh.
Wait, I don't even know if I told you that. This might be breaking news.
No, I didn't know.
I am so jacked up, KG, because I get to just go as a fan, get to hang out. I get to live your life and going and celebrating and cheering for Clemson. So I cannot wait to do that. And then literally hours after the game, I have to fly. I get to fly to Miami for the Orange Bowl to see Florida State and Georgia. I cannot wait. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be 48 hours of football, and that's
amazing. The dream.
Can't wait. It's so fun. It's so fun. So anyway, super excited for that. With that being said, yes, absolutely. I mean, I think this defense has, been the stability point of this team, all year long, and really, played at a very high level. And you're losing those guys. You look at Wiggins specifically, who I think is going to be probably a top 12 pick in the NFL draft. You look at Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who is projected in the top 15, top 20. So two really good guys that are impactful from a
And
leadership.
maybe that explains the Vegas line a little bit, Mac.
I get it. I totally get it. But you got other guys waiting in the wings. And the interesting part is, what is Clemson going to do schematically? How are they going to, play defense? Because we've seen them adjust and we've seen them do different things in the middle of the year. I mean, we saw them go to a 3 safety look against Drake May last year in the ACC championship game. So I am interested to see that. Do they try to do that knowing they don't have Makuba as well, who has been such a mainstay and been such a great player in the secondary? But there's a lot of young guys, I think, in the defensive backfield. Wade Woodaz, I assume, is the guy that's going to step up, play alongside Barrett Carter. Maybe you have a 2-man look there at linebacker, and then have a bunch of DBs and have a bunch of these young cats that are stepping up and playing at a very high level. Khalil Barnes is on every freshman All-American team I've seen. I mean, this guy is playing his tail off. So I don't think that we'll see any drop-off there. If anything, I'm hopeful, obviously, that you get even more excited about the future. You get even more excited about next year, seeing some young guys who maybe haven't quite had an opportunity in meaningful time that will now. And the good thing is you have all this practice time. And, Coach talked about that in JV and developmental. We even heard Brennan Armstrong talk about that in yesterday's episode, talking about how these first couple of practices, whatever we've done, all focusing on us, all about development, all about self-scouting, things of that nature. So I'm fascinated to see it. And then, just who steps up? Is there anybody that, again, hasn't had time? Because there's no rule. This doesn't count against redshirt. This doesn't count about anything. Is there somebody that maybe hasn't, received an opportunity just because of that rule? That now, again, because of the lack of depth, the experience depth, that person now gets an opportunity and they really shine.
Yeah, and we'll also see these new coaches that Dabo Swinney talked about in that interview as well. I don't think you should expect the new coaches to change everything right away at certain spots, but that will be interesting. And Mac, I think this game, you heard Dabo talking about, this game does mean a lot to Clemson. This is a motivated Clemson team. A 9th win would be important, but also a huge springboard for next year. I think on the flip side too, I think this game is very important for Kentucky. They're coming off a win over Louisville, which saved their season in some ways, massive upset, massive rivalry game. And Ray Davis playing tells me all I need to know about this game and how much it matters and the message that sends to the rest of the team. Ray Davis has had an incredible year, over 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns, plus over 300 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns there. So he's a guy that this defense has to lock in on specifically. Yeah. So I think you're going to see a very motivated Kentucky team. And you had, a conversation of possibly your head coach going to A&M and then not going and all these types of things. So I think Kentucky's going to want to be there just as much as Clemson, which is a big factor in these bowl games, Mac.
And that's what's so exciting that we get to see that.
I know.
You got two teams that want to play. You've got two teams that want to be there and want to get this big W because it's important to them. I mean, when you look over the past couple of years, even more than that, a handful of years of what Kentucky's been able to do and marginally just getting better and getting better and getting better. This is vital. This is a massive brand win. This is a massive recruiting win. And again, just a huge deal for again, I think both these teams. And, when you look at the Clemson offense, I think it's obviously vital. Will Shipley is playing. Just again, to how can you keep expanding and growing, on that relationship and finding a way to utilize him and Phil Maffa together. Like they're good enough to be on the field at the same time. They're good enough to both get equal shares. And then you find out who the hot hand is and you write it out. I think that is the picture perfect scenario. And quite frankly, even if another guy isn't hot, you still find a way to involve them. They're too good to just simply be put on the sideline and say, you're going to sit here. This guy's playing really well today. So I'm excited for that. Excited to see the growth that I think is possible for Cade Klubnik and going through this time, these 15 days leading into this game and how much has he, sharpened whatever, how locked in is he to this game plan and, really utilizing it because remember when we saw Louisville go against these guys, man, that defensive line was causing havoc. I mean, they were getting
Mm-hmm.
in the backfield. They were forcing, negative plays in the run game, not really any explosiveness at all. And that's what Louisville had been doing for so long. So this is going to be a challenge for Clemson to be able to establish that. They're big bodies, long, athletic. So you're going to have to see this offensive line really commit to being violent and to attack and not be passive in pass pro or in the run game. So this is a fantastic matchup. As soon as I saw it, I was excited just to see these two teams play.
I want to see a little more creativity, a little less conservativeness from the offense compared to the South Carolina game. And I think you will see that because I think you knew in the South Carolina game you could probably win that game with your defense, which is what they did. And there was flu going around the team and all these different things. And you have so much time to prepare now. So let's see some wrinkles. Let's see some new things. I know you're a little limited at wide receiver, but
back too.
yeah,
so
that's what's exciting.
Yeah.
Dabo was talking about that too. So you get a guy back who we all thought would be Clemson's leading receiver coming into the year. I commented to you, Mac. I was looking at the comparison between Clemson and Kentucky, just the ESPN page where it shows the game. Who would have thought the leading rusher for the year for Clemson going into the season would have been Maffa, and the leading receiver would have been Tyler Brown? If you had told anybody that, they would have said, first of all, what? And then second of all, who's Tyler Brown?
Right.
So this season, of course, has not gone like anyone thought, but you have established some new weapons, and that is exciting for Clemson. You bring up the brand aspect, Mac. I think this is huge for Clemson itself, of course, momentum, all that. You can't save the season necessarily, but you can leave a better taste in people's mouths.
Right.
But also the ACC situation, right?
Yeah.
Losing to Kentucky.
I know.
What did Spurrier always say? What do we always make fun of South Carolina for? Losing to Kentucky.
Yeah.
That aspect of this game, I think, is really big.
It is. It 100% is, especially after they just beat, the ACC.
Beat Louisville, yeah.
Louisville, okay? You've got to fly the flag, Clemson. You got to do it and make it happen. But, honestly, the good part about it is now I know Clemson has, their opt-outs and a handful, of meaningful players. So it's not like this is the full-strength Clemson that, you saw to end the season that won 4 games in a row. But still, I think it's two very motivated teams. And I love that point that you brought up, KG, and think that at the end of the day, that gets a great game and that gets a great battle to where, we see these coaches coaching their tail off. And we see these players, motivated and trying to win a football game. Because even I think from a motivational piece for, the Clemson defensive line and the Clemson offensive line, that, again, this is your coach's first snapshot of who you are. And if you're going to be getting meaningful, impactful snaps next year, if you're a starter this year, are you going to be a starter next year? A lot of your effort in what you do in this game will matter. So I think that those two, again, lines of scrimmages, I think that's taken into account, and we see those guys step up their game.
And of course, because it is still technically 2023, we must mention the turnover margin and the turnover battle with this Clemson team. It almost feels, this sounds bad, Clemson fans are going to hate me, I'm going to jinx it, but it feels like maybe the turnover issues have been solved. I'm just saying it. It feels like that may be true. But if you go out there and turn the ball over 3 times in this game, you're probably not going to win. I mean, it's going to come down to that. It really has come down to that for Clemson most of the season.
Yeah, no, there's no question. And every time that Coach Swinney's been asked about, what do you remember? What blah, 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 what do you fix? It's always the turnovers.
Yeah.
Always the fumbles. It's going to Duke and being in the red zone, 4 times, 0 points. I mean, that's just, it can't be done. You can't win, high level football. You can't really win any football when you do those things and when you have those type of issues. And I'm not going to go as far as you did because we'll see. But if you protect the football, you'll win the game. And, at the end of the day, that's really what it comes down to. And it's very simple at times, KG.
Yes. Yeah, that's right, Mac. Football's not hard. It's not complicated. Come on.
Protect the ball and score. That's all you got to do.
Well, we said in our NC State episode that if you went and ate one of the Pop-Tart cheesecakes, please let us know. If you see, Clemson fans, if you see Mac at the Gator Bowl, please let us know. He may be in a nice spot to watch the game. I'm not sure exactly where he's going to be.
You don't know.
If he's going to be in the cheap seats.
No idea where else.
Well, if you see Mac.
I want to be on the field. Graham Neff, if you hear this, I'm coming
That's
down.
kind of
with
my
you.
point.
I'm coming to hang out. I'm coming to hang out down there. That's
Mac,
where I would love to be.
if you went to walk on the field, would somebody stop you? Like, is there a security guy who sees you and thinks, I'm going to stop that guy, or I'm just going to let him go?
Chest. Maybe. Might want to make a name for themselves. You never know.
If you see Mac, say hi. I will
Say
be, Mac, where will I be? My favorite place to watch a game?
The Doubletree, Bristol, Connecticut.
My couch.
Your couch.
That's where I'll be.
Can't wait. I'm excited for you, excited for me, excited for us. Great episode. Big shout out again, Coach Swinney making some time for us. Busy man. Had to get to Santa on the rooftop, and he made that happen for us. And Frankie's Fun Park. They also did that same day.
And wait, can we talk about how he said that you asked Santa to come to Columbia, and he said he doesn't go where they're naughty. And then he said Gramlich. Like, I haven't been naughty. Jeez, Dabo.
No, I think he was just saying, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about.
Well,
shout out to him making some time for us. And again, Ross Taylor setting all this up. Very grateful and appreciative there. We need you guys' help. We need you to come over to YouTube, see this silliness that we have going on each and every episode. Subscribe, leave some comments. If you saw me, drop it in the comments. If you ate the food at NC State, drop it in the comments.
Yes.
We always appreciate that, the interactions that we have in there. And of course, the OGs on Apple Podcasts. Rate, review, subscribe. We would greatly appreciate that. But until next time, we'll see y'all.